In this video, we're going to look at multiples, common multiples, and the least common multiple. Okay, so a multiple of a number, so a multiple of 8, is the result, the product, when you multiply 8 by some other number. Okay, so here I multiplied 8 by 7 to get 56. 56 is one of infinitely many multiples of 8. Okay, so that's what it means to be a multiple. So we're asked to find the first 6 multiples of 8. So that means we're going to find 1 times 8, 2 times 8, 3 times 8, 4 times 8, 5 times 8, and 6 times 8. These are the first 6 because they're the smallest multiples of 8. Okay, so 1 times 8 is 8. Okay, a nice fact that you can use, you can of course use your multiplication facts, but multiples, these are going to increase by 8 each time because they're multiples of 8. This is 1 8, this is 2 8s, which is 8 more than 1 8. So you can just add 8 from your previous number. Sometimes that's easier if you've forgotten your facts. 4 times 8 is 32, that's 8 more than 24, 40, and 48. Okay, so these are the first 6 multiples of 8. Now let's find the first 6 multiples of 12. Well, 12 times 1 is 12, so you always start with a number. A number is a multiple of itself. And I'm going to add 12s. 24, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 more is 48, that's 12 times 4, 12 more is 60, that's 12 times 5, and 12 times 6 is 12 more than 60, which is 72. Okay, and I should have put, here I will put dot, 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 meaning these lists go on forever and ever. Okay, I can multiply 8 by a million, and 8 million is a multiple of 8. Okay, so we're just looking at the first few. Now, some common multiples of 8 and 12 are, well, let's circle common multiples. Again, you want to be systematic. I'm going to start with the first list, compare it to the second list, and circle any I see in common. They don't have 8 in common. They don't have 16 in common. They both have 24. They both do not have 32. They don't have 40 in common. And they do have 48 in common. So these are some common multiples, because remember, these patterns go on forever. They actually have infinitely many common multiples. So we're not going to write them all down like we did with the common factors, which are finite, meaning you can list them and the list ends. So some common multiples that we can see in these lists are 24 and 48. Okay, and what we want to find is the least common multiple, okay, which is the smallest number in this list. So the least common multiple of 8 and 12 is 24. So if we find the first ones, the first one they have in common, which is 24, is their least common multiple. Okay, and again, remember, like I mentioned with greatest common factor, lots of times you see the number least and you think you're finding numbers smaller than 8 and 12. Sometimes people confuse greatest common factor with least common multiple. Okay, but it's because it's the smallest of a list that goes on forever, and that's why you want the smallest number. There is no greatest common multiple. So in upcoming videos, this can if they didn't have a common multiple for a long time, which can happen, this process could be a little bit tedious. So when you have small numbers, it's a good way to find the least common multiple. But we're going to learn how to find least common multiples using prime factorization so we don't have to make these long lists.